Welcome to a broadcast of the recent Lorain County Commissioners' General Meeting. Unless otherwise announced, meetings are held Wednesday morning at 9:30 at the Administration Building, 226 Middle Avenue, 4th floor, downtown Elyria. These are public meetings and you are invited to attend. Agendas are posted prior to the meeting at www.loraincounty.us. Click on Departments to see the Commissioners page, then click on View Agenda.
Good morning, everyone. If you'll please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And our inspirational word this morning comes from Romans. Do everything possible on your part to live in peace with everybody. And our dog this morning, Commissioner Kokoski.
Oh my God. This is probably one of the smallest dogs we ever had. Oh, she doesn't.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
See what you can do with little dogs. You just pick them up and carry them with
yeah,
you.
that's right, yeah.
We have a little male Chihuahua or a little miniature Doberman if you want. Is available on Friday. We have 23 dogs, so if you're not into little tiny small dogs like I am, come down and see what we have, or you can check us out on Facebook. But what a great inexpensive present for the holiday season. Come down to our kennel and adopt, don't shop. Thanks.
Madam Clerk.
Under Resolutions Number 1, Investments.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Appropriations.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Transfers.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
No advances, no repayments, requisitions.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Travel.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Bills.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Under the Commissioners, authorize various personnel actions as indicated on the summary sheet for employees within jurisdiction of Lorain County Commissioners.
That would be Administrator Cortez.
Ready?
No, yes, sir, already.
I got work to do. I guess we won't be having lunch, we'll be having breakfast afterwards. Normally we have pizza, about 11:30? I think we'll probably have some waffles or something here. Waffle.
Breakfast at Blue Sky.
Well, we still have a little work to do before we leave, Ted.
We can do it down there.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Madam Clerk. I do have a number of issues this morning. I want to update you on the contract negotiations with United Auto Workers, Job and Family Services. We have a tentative agreement that I wish to discuss further with you. Purchase of real estate, and actually that would be sale of real estate, not purchase. And we do have a pending legal matter that I also like to discuss, plus potential hires. Let me make sure I know where they are. I don't think the sheet has been prepared yet, but at Workforce Development, maybe Job and Family Services. So all of those topics allowable under the Sunshine Act for executive session discussion. So I'd ask at the conclusion of our regular board meeting, we go into executive session and talk about those issues that I've identified. Thank you.
Approve and waive the reading of the minutes of November 23rd.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Cortez.
Is that the first? Is that a first?
Yes.
I think this has to be a first. We normally have at least an agenda item.
See, you've
Yeah.
done such a good job that,
You're so efficient,
got everything
yeah.
cleared off your desk and,
It's just underneath the desk. It's never cleared off
We
the
don't
desk.
have any money to do anything. so
Well, that's
it could be-
pretty much
could be
what it
the real
is.
reason.
just as an update, you can look out your window to see what's going on at the courthouse. Things are progressing real nicely. We're also working on our 911 issues. As you know, we're putting up a tower for a new home for 911. So a lot of work is going on. And, of course, I've been talking to Ms. Davis. I'm trying to get reinvigorated on the Transportation Center project and trying to find out where the choke points are, because we've just lost forward progress in the last 5 months or so with Norfolk Southern and Amtrak. So I got to figure out where it's clogged, put some Drano on it, and get this thing, removing again so we can get that project going, because we're going to have funding in jeopardy here real soon.
But just so the public knows, I mean, the big log jam is that Norfolk Southern basically wants us to pick up the price tag for what's really their infrastructure responsibility.
They want a lot of that. They want rail smoothing. They want things that I believe should be their routine maintenance costs. I'm not as worried about the rail smoothing, and I'm using a term that I learned from them, so let me identify what that term is. That's just making sure the track is all level, because over time it gets a little bumpy, and we probably want that so that when Amtrak pulls into the station, it's not a little higher here or there, and it's level with the platform. But a lot of that, some of that with their replacing the ties and stuff could be considered their routine maintenance. They've been a little bit difficult. It's the work on the bridges that has been really
Right.
And I've come up with multiple scenarios with them, and to the point of wanting to take them up there and point out that we're using one bridge as a fire evacuation zone, but we're not doing any construction over that bridge. So why would we have to waterproof that bridge for them? And all you have to do is ride down the street there by the video place and the fire station, see what terrible condition that bridge actually is in. It's all dented and banged up, hasn't been maintained in decades. But it's not just Norfolk Southern. We have some issues with Amtrak. They want us to pay to collapse their old station to go into a new station where they're contributing federal funds to that they got, but that's only 20% of the whole project cost that we're putting together. So with other priorities, this one has slipped a bit, and we just got to get back on top of it. It's not a great time to try to do so, but I'm going to be working on that in the next week or two, because the other projects now are progressing very nicely. And I am pleased to tell you, they did give me a bid sheet on the collection center changes and the things that are going to happen there. So finally, but I'm just trying to use up a little time this morning, so I'm going to yield to council, and hopefully you got long, lengthy reports, but I know it was holiday last week. Thank you.
Mr. Ennis.
Commissioners, I have one matter of pending litigation and one matter of imminent litigation to discuss with you in executive session.
Commissioners report.
Well, hopefully everyone had a very nice Thanksgiving. I know I did. The new McDonald's opened up on the corner. I went there yesterday.
Was it any different hamburger from the other McDonald's?
Well, I got breakfast. So,
was it any different breakfast than the other
No,
McDonald's?
but everything was right. They didn't mess up my order. So first day open, it was all good. So.
Yes.
Okay, let's see. Friday after Thanksgiving, I was a celebrity bartender at Mexican Mutual. I've never done that before, so it was a lot of fun. Thank you, Mr. Kalo, for coming and supporting Mexican Mutual that day. And hopefully, I think you gave me a tip, so I got to ring the bell. I think we raised $50 for the club, so it was a fun event. Saturday, downtown Lorain for the Winter Festival with my daughter and my 2 grandchildren. While we were at the Palace, I ran into Dan Metelsky, and he took me around the side. Our solid waste department provided plants last month for a pollinator garden like we did over at the Turnpike Plaza. And then he also took me around the back. The Sekletar, the one that did the mural in downtown Amherst, he painted the Lorain Palace on the back of the building, and it looks really nice. So congratulations to them. And Santa was there, and my grandkids got to see Santa, and we had hot chocolate and popcorn at the Palace. And my granddaughter had never been in the Palace Theater, so her eyes were like big as saucers, and how beautiful it is in there. And then condolences to Dan Given and his family on the passing of his father the day before Thanksgiving. It's never easy when you lose during the holidays like that. I got an email from Sheriff's Committee. He's talking about next of kin. It's a registry that allows Ohio drivers to log in or stop at a deputy registrar and designate a next of kin contact should they be seriously incapacitated or killed in a crash. The process allows the investigator, EMT, or medical facility to at least follow the wishes of the victim versus blindly sorting through a cell phone or dated documents at the scene of a crash and hoping to get the correct person. So if you wanted to sign up for that, you would go to the BMV. It's bmvohio.gov/DL-other-next-of-kin.aspx. So I'm sure you would find it if you just looked up the BMV website. Let's see. Oh, coming up this Thursday, December 1st, at the United States Steelworkers 1104 Union Hall at 2501 Broadway. It's an important community gathering to discuss current unemployment compensation bill and other legislative threats, which is currently being considered by the House and Senate in their lame duck session. So if you have an interest, if you want to come and support our UAW, our 1104 Union Hall.
Yeah, we already passed, remember, a resolution earlier this year opposing that.
Right.
So going from, 26 weeks to
10 or 20.
Yeah.
They don't have
Yeah,
a number.
right.
Yes, yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But
Right.
hey,
So we need
bang
to go
the
support
worker.
them. And then another thing that's coming up, resilience in trauma-exposed workplaces for first responders, law enforcement, fire, paramedics, doctor, nurses, social workers, mental health clinicians, and advocates. It's going to be December 16th at 8 o'clock check-in, 8:30 to 3:30 p.m. at Lorain County Community College. It is free, and it's sponsored by the Nord Family Foundation. If you're interested and you would like to contact someone there, the phone number is 440-233-2020. So, and I think that's the end of my report.
Good. No, you covered most of everything I did also, but again, congratulations to the Waterfront Winterfest group. Great turnout. Congratulations to Taylor Soto, who won the 65-inch TV at their drawing that night.
So how was Miss Kokoski as a bartender? Uh-oh.
They said I was the best they ever had.
Oh,
Yes,
sure,
she
they say it
was.
to everybody.
Right. That's okay. It's okay. She did a nice job. Stay a commissioner. Just a really busy weekend. And talking about the courthouse renovations, we've had some phone calls and comments to our assistant. The reason the trees came down, if you can help me expound on this, is it's a sandstone building. Everybody's aware. The trees weeping and covering it, it wasn't drying out, so there's a lot of discoloration to the building.
Sure.
Moisture.
All you have to do is take a look at it. Couple things, Commissioner. I tried to take the trees down 15 years ago, as you well know, when the Justice Center was going up, and we did have a plan at that point to incorporate the southern lawn behind the courthouse into the campus of Lorain County between all of our buildings. It's always, it was supposed to be done that way to streamline the streetscape and so forth. That never really occurred because of the argument about not only the trees on the southern lawn, but all the trees around the courtyard and the heavy vegetation that was growing right up onto the side of the courthouse. I wasn't able to gain the support and cooperation of various administrations that have been here to do that. I felt that it was damaging to the building. We needed to put as much sunshine on that building year-round as possible. And to dry it out. But with more and more problems with water seepage into the building, with moisture problems continuing to deteriorate the walls on the inside of the building, because water weeps right through sandstone over time, especially if it stays moist. Now, a real thick block of sandstone is a good barrier until it stays moist all the time and doesn't dry out. In addition to that, there was no footer tile around that building. It's a very old building. It wasn't built in the days when they put footer tile in. If you noticed, I ensured that this time this renovation is going to last 40 or 50 years, at least on the exterior. You see the big trenches along the sides of the building. We're laying footer tile, drainage tile to the water that's going to wick up against that building. To make sure that we take that away from the foundation of the building as well. I think at the end of the day, the sandstone's going to last a lot longer. The building's not going to require as much cleaning because you won't have the greening of the sandstone, and of course it'll still get dirty over time. But you see the green on it.
Right.
That's
why we're doing
that's
this.
all from moisture and lack of sunshine. Plus, we're going to put some trees back on the south lawn. In the front, we're going to take the two memorials that are up there, the WW1 Memorial, which nobody even knew was up there because it was overgrown with brush and so forth, and the Workers Memorial, and we're going to have a nice area with meditation, two small meditation benches, going to spotlight those areas that were, quite frankly, in the woods before. I think it's going to be a beautiful expression of what the courthouse, what's left of the courthouse. I wish we had the kind of wherewithal to put the cupola back on the roof and reconstruct all that, but we don't. But it's still going to show a magnificent building architecturally, and it's going to be there for generations to come of Lorain Countyans and their children and grandchildren.
I just wanted, if we talked about it, I know we have, but I mean, not as much since the trees came down. Again, we had some constituent questioning why the trees came down, so if we talked about it, at least they'd have an idea.
And remember, the sandstone that came off the back is being repurposed. There's going to be I don't want to call it a walk, it's more like a promenade between all three buildings, and there's going to be a meditation wall on the circle towards the middle, and we're going to rebuild, we're going to build that wall out of the recaptured sandstone. We're going to repurpose that sandstone and incorporate it into the whole motif that's going to be out there. I think people are going to be very, very pleased, and we want to uplight the building. We're going to uplight it and downlight the balconies so that it really pops in the evening for people coming downtown. You can't do that with all that vegetation and tree cover. It just does. You just don't see anything. So if they just give us some time, there probably will be one or two people that on naysay. I think overall people are going to be very impressed with what we're doing here.
That's a lot better than a homeless shelter or tearing it down as was proposed in the past. And, you know, I just can't thank you and, you know, Karen enough and everybody else involved. I think it's going to look great when it's done, and it's you know, it's really the cornerstone of our county. If people think of Lorain County landmarks, they think of the courthouse, they think of the lighthouse, and without question, it's also going to have an effective use, which if we're going to invest government money, we need to make sure it's going to be used and have an effective use, which it will. And
can I explain something about that for a second? Mm-hmm. We were not able to conduct an interior renovation for historical significance on the building because it had been at least 3 times gutted, and there was really no significant artifacts and building materials available left in the building. Over some of the catwalks that were built to make courtrooms out of smaller courtrooms out of a bigger courtroom, you could see the various renovations that had been chopped up and broken out. The most significant was when it was built. It was the leftover plaster. You could see some of it was magnificent. Even the second renovation left a magnificent looking facade inside, but the reliefs were gorgeous. But there was nothing left after, you know, the second, the third, fourth, fifth, sixth iteration of trying to repurpose the building and squeeze in 8 pounds or something into a 3-pound building. So when people are wondering why we're concentrating on the exterior and we're completely renovating the interior but not to any historical significant value, there is no historical significant value left inside the building. You would have to completely gut the building and then spend millions rebuilding what was there initially because none of it's left. And we did not take it out.
Right.
So I think we probably need to let people know that.
yeah. And then we do have some renderings of what we hope it'll look like, the end result, and I'm hoping that we'll pass those along to the...
They're posted.
Yeah. We'll probably have Hal, I guess, put these on the internet as well, too. But
He's coming up to you there, Matt.
oh, he's going to zoom in a little. Okay. Where's my close-up camera? Here we go. But, so, as you can see, that picture there. So, but, boy, it's a magnificent structure. I mean, even after the trees came down and everybody was able to see it, everybody kept commenting, boy, that's a beautiful building. And once we get done with it, it's going to be a true jewel and a true landmark of pride, I think, for the whole county. So we're looking forward to it. And we're going to send these off, I think, to the various historical societies so they have an idea of what we're working on. And we'll ask Kalo to put up some other close-up shots of that.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, no.
No,
that
you're
was-
fine.
that was
No,
in
my
your
report. Go ahead,
You
you're
were
fine.
talking about
Roll right into yours. Go ahead, you're fine.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done. Go ahead.
Okay. I just wanted to thank all the volunteers throughout the county who volunteered to help out with all the various dinners that took place during Thanksgiving to help feed the needy. I know a lot of churches and groups and some restaurants step up to do that. It's just really, really important to always remember those still in need at this time of year. And as my colleague pointed out, there, sympathies go out to Dan Given in Lorain with the passing of his father. It's a tragic time to be losing, a difficult time to be losing a loved one. And I know my sister-in-law lost her father on Saturday to lung cancer, and Mario Pasquale Romano, good Polish name there, but proud Italian father, and just a great guy, always in positive frame of mind, and just always loved spending time with him and the whole family. And our prayers obviously go out to all those at Ohio State University, and there was a violent attack that took place, and it's hard to figure out where these things are going to pop up. If you look at all the reports that have been done, just seemed like this one truly came out of nowhere. Obviously, here in Lorain County, we need jobs just like throughout Ohio, and I understand our Republican-controlled Senate today is focusing on House Bill 48 to have students carry guns on college campuses. And I used to always say in committee that, where's the guarantee that the bullets only hit the bad guys? And if somebody's going to be firing a gun, it should be a trained professional. And also, I think it puts law enforcement in a difficult position when they show up at the scene and you got 10 people standing around with a gun. You don't know who the bad guy is and who the good guys are. So, but once again, it's part of that extreme agenda that exists in the Republican-controlled legislature in Columbus. Lorain County Historical Society is going to be having their Christmas party this Friday at the Hickories. That's always a good event if you want to support the Historical Society. Hope you'll come out for that. And that completes my report.
December 2nd and 9:45, Commissioners will have their first sales tax hearing. Board correspondence.
I would move that we approve the board correspondence, and even though we have a short meeting, I'll still suggest that we waive the reading.
Second.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Public comment.
Rosa, did you want to have anything for public comment, or anyone else having comments? Good morning, good morning.
Good
Saw you
morning,
at the
let
bank
me-
the other morning.
Thank you for letting me speak today. I'm here on behalf of Valor Homes mural project. One of you already spoke on what a wonderful job Mike Sekletar had done on painting the palace sign on the back. He is also known throughout our county for the beautiful veteran murals in Amherst. Our veterans at Valor Home, now that the clinic is gone, they stand alone there. Family and Community Services does a wonderful job helping with their needs. But we're not helping with their pride. We're not giving them the pride they so much deserve. The building is starting to look sad outside. Inside, it's a great building. You've all been there, and I'm sure you know how nice it is. Outside, it really needs a facelift. Going along with the theme of Lorain as a city trying to improve their image, and also Lorain County improving their looks on so many levels. We have all come together and talked about doing a magnificent mural on Valor Home. This is going to cost $10,000. John Sekletar, my husband Joe Gee, and myself are trying to raise the $10,000 for the mural. That way it doesn't take anything away from what our veterans' needs are, but at the same time it gives them a home that on the outside they can be very proud of, that matches the inside and all the good that's being done in that building. At this time, I'd like to show you an image of the mural that's being planned. If you remember November 4th at the Palace, We introduced the idea of the mural. The palace was attended very well. At the palace, we gave all the veterans a commemorative coin with the image of the mural on it. Now, we are asking and planning on this mural for spring of 2017. We have the contact information. We also have planned a Valor Home mural fundraiser, April 22nd, 2017, at German's Villa. It'll be a $20 spaghetti dinner. Table sponsors are $25. Event sponsors are $50. For more information, you can reach John Sekletar at 440-320-6818, or you can call myself or my husband, Rosa or Joe Gee, at 440-949-4883. We are hoping to get all of the county involved in this, and we're really running a very reasonable price at this event. We're hoping to sell a lot of tickets, and we will be in contact with everyone closer to the date. Now, can I give you this information?
Sure.
Yep, absolutely. Great.
And also here's a coin. Thank you.
Thanks, Rosa.
I don't know I guess Hal can put this up on a separate screen, but it's kind of what the, okay. And then we'll make sure we put that information up on the screen as well, too. So, April 22nd, 2017. We'll be here before we know it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's hope so. Get right through winter quickly and get to April.
Right.
It's good by me.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to participate in public comment? Good morning. If you'll just state your name for the record.
Commissioners, my name is Mark Strauss, Managing Member of Avon 25 Real Estate LLC. I'll be very brief this morning. I listened to the comments of the commissioners and the need for jobs in Lorain County. I think it's time that everyone checks their ego at the door with regards to Golden Acres and a proposed new $17 million nursing home in Avon, Ohio. This matter is up against a critical deadline with a state law expiring on January 10th, 2017 with regards to the viability of the Golden Acres 82 nursing home bed licenses. The proposed nursing home in Avon, Ohio will create almost 100 the equivalent of 100 full-time jobs with $2.5 to $3 million in payroll. In addition, we have been working since July on a possible infrastructure grant of $500,000 from the state of Ohio for road improvements and utility installation. I ask that the commissioners seriously consider. I'm certain that the comments about going into executive session with regards to pending litigation are part of this matter, and I ask that the commissioners do what they have been elected to do, and that's to look out for the best interests of the residents of Lorain County and create 100 potentially full-time jobs with $2.5 million of payroll and increase new infrastructure in Lorain County with a brand new $17 million nursing home. Thank you.
I'd like to comment on that.
Well, I was just going to, if I could just state, you know, I think that, you know, we're always interested in trying to move projects forward, but you talked about checking egos at the door. I would suggest that we bring credibility to the door, too, and people honor things they say they're going to do. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I think that's well put. And you are doing what you're supposed to do. You're not doing what some people want you to do, but you are doing what you're supposed to do.
And I would just make a comment to that is that at the end of the day, we'll see whose ego was checked at the door and whose credibility was in fact brought to the table in this matter.
Well,
Thank
it
you.
certainly isn't ours.
Mark, I would just indicate, I know Dan Petticourt and Mr. Grandal have been phone tagging, so, I mean, at this point, we're not sure where you are, so you might ask Mr. Grindell to try and get a hold of Dan so that
Well,
we know where
I know exactly where we are. Where we're at is that the person who was awarded the bid failed to fulfill its obligations. The obligation of this commission is to put it out either for rebid or determine what it wants to do with this asset. It's critical that the county may lose significant funds if we get to January 10th and nothing is done in this matter.
You
Thank
prepared to honor your bid? You prepared to honor the original deal that you and I made? Are you prepared to do that, sir? And are you prepared to make sure that...
Mr. Cortez, state law requires at this point in time
You don't
that
tell
the
us
matter
what state,
be...
you do
this-
not
state-
tell us what state law, the prosecutor's office tells us what the state law we follow, not you,
Okay.
not your attorneys.
Okay. Well, again...
Are you
again-
prepared to
again,
honor the arrangement that you and I made last year?
Mr. Cortez, I'm more than happy to discuss this matter in private at this
You
matter,
came,
but...
wait, you
here,
came
sir.
here. You came here. You opened this
I
for
did, right.
With the
I
press
did.
here.
Are you prepared to honor the negotiated deal that you and I made last year?
Mr. Strauss did not make the negotiated deal. Avon SNF made the deal, and Mr. Innes voided that deal.
No,
Mr. Innes
didn't
voided the
void
deal.
that deal. You and your
Mr. Innes
partner's
void-
business collapse
Mr.
voided
Vi-
that deal.
No, that's not true.
Well,
That's
it
not
is very
Mr.
true.
Mr. Innes voided the deal.
No, he did not.
Okay.
You and your business partners
well,
that had a
again,
business
again,
fallout. No,
again,
See, you come in here,
again.
you make statements that are arbitrary, capricious, and not factually sound.
That's not true, Mr.
It is
Cortez.
true. And I'm not
That's
going to
not
allow
true.
you to do that
That's
in an
fine.
attempt to embarrass this board. You should have not even come here.
Okay.
Because we're in litigation that you started, that your business partners started, okay? And I'm going to ask you right now in front of everybody, are you prepared to fulfill the obligations of the negotiated deal that you and I made?
I don't
Last
have-
summer.
It's not my deal, Mr. Cortez.
Okay.
It's Avon
Okay.
SNF's deal.
Which means no.
It's Avon SNF's
Which means no.
deal.
Because I negotiated with
Avon
you.
SNF's
I
deal.
negotiated with you.
You signed a contract with Avon SNF that Mr. Innes
You got so many
determined that it was...
LLCs, we can't
that's
see
not
straight
true.
who we're dealing
Okay.
with.
Well, we'll sort that out then. That's fine.
And I know we're going to
Sort that
prevail
out.
at the end of the day because we have honesty and integrity.
And so do I, Mr. Cortez.
I
So do
find that questionable.
Well, you just said that in front of entire Lorain County, so you just questioned my integrity, and we'll see at the end whose integrity is
You
questioned.
questioned our integrity. You said we have to do our job.
I did not
Yes,
not
you do.
test
You know,
your
sir, you
integrity.
fancy yourself
I asked-
sophisticated with your terminology, and I'm telling you, out right now in front of everybody, honor the negotiated deal that we made, figure out how to get it done instead of shell corporations everywhere and partnerships, and this board will move forward and exercise on that right to sell those bids at the price you and I discussed.
That's fine. That's fine. We'll have that discussion.
Yeah, I understand we're always going to look out for the public interest first. So,
Unbelievable.
any other participants for public comment? Seeing none at this point, I would move that we go into an executive session, discuss personnel issues that were outlined by the county administrator, and obvious legal issues that were outlined by the assistant prosecutor.
Second.
Mr. Lundy,
Aye.
Mr. Kalo?
Aye.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
This has been a broadcast of the recent Lorain County Commissioners' General Meeting. Unless otherwise announced, meetings are held Wednesday morning at 9:30 at the Administration Building, 226 Middle Avenue, 4th floor, downtown Elyria. These are public meetings, and you are invited to attend. Agendas are posted prior to the meeting at www.loraincounty.us. Click on Departments to see the Commissioners page, then click on View Agenda for a printable copy of the agenda.
Our mission is to capture and preserve the spirit, the sacrifices, and rich history of the American people. We want to honor those men and women who support and defend our way of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, as well as inspire future generations of Americans to understand how important it is to preserve this concept of freedom that we enjoy every day.
I knew that as a young child that I would join the military service and that I would become a United States Marine. I wanted to give back to this country, to serve my country. I wanted to give back all of myself to this country. And being a Marine is one who accepts challenges and adversity, faces them head on, and always knows and says to himself, I will never give up. We created this memorial to tell America's story from 1775 to present day. We want to captivate the hearts and minds of the American people to never forget the sacrifice that had been made to protect the rights and freedoms we have today. We need to keep America's sense of patriotism ignited and a continued respect for those who support and defend our freedom and way of life, both here and abroad. We need to educate our future generations that we are a country of many people, but as Americans we are one. Being American means flying the flag, to know the words to the national anthem and the Pledge of Allegiance, and bursting with pride when you hear those. It means being thankful for all those who have given their lives for this country. Finally, being an American means appreciating its great beauty.
As a volunteer nonprofit organization, we pledge our time, talent, and resources to honor the men and women who support and defend this country.
My name is Patricia A. Sexton. I'm the wife of Sergeant David Mason Sexton, the U.S. Army, who lost his life on March 15, 1971, and his remains have yet to come home to his son and I. During the years after I lost my husband, I felt like I needed to be doing something more for this country and our service. I went and got involved with Rolling Thunder, Chapter 5 out of Ohio. We built a POW MIA traveling wall that depicted the 137 names that were still classified as either prisoners of war or missing in action. Then in 2004, Ron Smith joined, and all the years after that we traveled, talking to military, talking to every family that we possibly could, and realized from what they were saying that we needed possibly to have something else that depicted the spirit of the American people and to honor our military men and women, our police and fire.
In January 2014, Ray Simon of Ray Simon Art was contracted to paint the artwork. Ray's work always evokes a strong emotional feeling that pays tribute to the individual or event. He masterfully uses his artistic gift and integrates it with his deep love and reverence for American culture.
In 2013, it was just a vision, but as of November 2015, it will be a reality.
We encourage and challenge everyone to do whatever they can to honor those brave individuals who support, defend, and preserve our way of life. Please help and join us as we bring the spirit of America's story to thousands of Americans who want to pay tribute and honor to those who support and defend our great country.
They're doing drugs.
It's easy to start, and it's painful to stop.
Prescription drugs are prescription for a reason. If you take too many of a prescription narcotic, you die.
Chelsea was very well liked by her friends and by her teachers.
Ronnie was going down to Tennessee State to be the next player to come out of Tennessee State.
Joey was extremely popular, just surrounded by friends.
Mark was an athletic, fit-looking kid.
Aaron enjoyed talking and debating with any and all people.
The prescription pain pill problem is a huge epidemic.
This is an epidemic.
This is an epidemic that is infiltrated our young people.
We never had a conversation with Joey about prescription drugs because we truly had no idea that there was any kind of recreational use going on.
How many guys know it's
The first time I started doing painkillers was when I was 17.
I would steal pills from my friend's mom. Her stepmom had script for Vicodin. That was like heaven. I went in her room and stole Vicodin every day.
He would ask to use the bathroom in other people's homes, and he'd go in there and go in their medicine cabinets and steal prescription drugs.
These medications are available everywhere in every socioeconomic environment.
Ronnie was a starting halfback, one of our best players. He got several scholarship offers.
Ronnie was very popular in the neighborhood.
Ronnie was a neat freak, clean freak, always had his hair braided. When he got into the pill use, his mood changed. he changed, like, was that Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde?
Ronnie's appearance really deteriorated, and it was really unlike him.
I said, "Are you doing drugs?" And my son looked at me with these eyes of, "How could you even think of that, Mom?"
I was walking up to football practice. My coach was walking towards me. He just had this crazy look on his face. He goes, "You think they might have found your brother?" And I was like, to me, I was like goofing. I was like, I didn't know he went missing. So I was like making her like goofing off. And he was like, "No, Justin, seriously, they might have found his body." And I was like, "Wait a minute." I was "Whoa, what?" He's like, "Yeah, they discovered a body in an apartment in Telford."
I never thought my son would take prescription drugs without a prescription.
Parents often trip themselves up by asking a simple question, "Are you using drugs?" No. One has to be able to say, "I'm seeing some signs here that concern me."
He was a little bit more argumentative. We thought that was maybe hormones.
The person has what we call pinpoint pupils. Literally, the pupils look like a pinpoint.
She slept odd hours.
We didn't know why he was sleeping so late.
If I wasn't able to get high, then I didn't want to get out of bed because, the physical withdrawals.
We were missing tinfoil from the kitchen, missing spoons.
We'd find the pens that were cut in half.
Straws.
There were a lot of charges coming on the credit cards.
We thought that there was somebody stealing money out of her account.
That's probably a pretty good clue there's something going on. Joey was pretty upset with his roommates. They were spending all their money on medication. Had I known that the medications that they were taking were so dangerous, I would have told them, "You're not even going back to that place."
If you feel something's going on, you gotta investigate.
I thought it was just a phase. We partied when we were in high school, and it's just sort of a phase you go through as you grow, experience life, and you grow out of it. And I thought he was on that track.
Joey had been found and he was unconscious. He had all these medications that he had just received from this doctor. More than likely, he crushed and snorted it. We're just being completely hit blindly by, a situation we had absolutely no understanding of and no notice of. And in the meantime, my husband's in the house. I'm out front in the front of the house just, wondering what we're dealing with here. And so finally, Joe just came out and said, "He's gone."
I was downstairs getting ready for work, and Cookie told me she couldn't get Mark up. Mark was powerful and had the nickname in some circles of Tank. I reminded her that what she had to do was get a cup of water and splash him with it and stay out of his way. And she told me it was different. We found a clear plastic bag of loose pills. I'm not sure if he even thought he was doing drugs, and I know that sounds crazy, but it's not like it was heroin or cocaine. We followed the ambulance to the hospital. A few minutes later, someone came in and told us that Mark was dead. We never thought that was a possibility.
I had no idea that kids were abusing medicine.
I came home one night, saw the basement light on, and went up to the window, and my son was crushing and snorting the pills.
We would find pills in the shoes, in the jackets that are hanging in the closet, in the pockets.
I found some pills hidden under his cushion.
They were in his socks. I never checked my kid's socks.
He took the light switch plate off and put them in there.
Look everywhere. Is it an invasion? No. You're doing the right thing as a parent.
I would question Chelsea, and she would always assure me that everything is fine and nothing's wrong.
Kids don't want to get in trouble, so they're going to tell you exactly what you want to hear.
There was always something down deep inside that said to me, something's wrong. You doubt yourself because you wonder if you're making a bigger deal out of something.
Maybe deep down my parents knew that I was high.
You can't always believe your child. Their lies get bigger when they're trying to hide substance abuse.
I knew her inside and out, and I remember Chelsea as the little girl that she used to be.
I looked at him and I only saw the most beautiful son in the world.
It was very difficult to think that she would be lying to me. which she was. She was out using and abusing prescription drugs.
Long-acting agents like OxyContin are meant to be delivered in the body over a period of hours, if not a day. If they're chewed, crushed, and snorted, you get the entire dose at one blast, and if the body's not ready to accommodate that, you will stop breathing.
We needed to call the police. But what are the neighbors going to think?
Put all of that aside and focus on what's important, as difficult as it may be.
Families can't get too caught up in the idea that there may be an arrest charge of my son or daughter. They could be in jail. They could be in the morgue.
The law saved my life. If my mom hadn't called the cops on me, I don't know where I would be right now.
It was the most difficult thing to do, to call the police on your own child. It was horrible. I have gone from putting importance on things like what college are you going to get into to just celebrating the fact that she's alive today. She's doing very well. She's clean and sober. She's productive. She's sweet. And I have her back, and I'm thankful. And it's wonderful.
Aaron had spent the night at a friend's, and they found him blue and non-responsive. They took him to a local hospital.
He was using Vicodin, which we found out through his toxicology, what was in his blood system.
I witnessed him have 2 heart attacks in ICU. He had staph, he had pneumonia, he went through seizures. The doctor was explaining to us that he was going to die. We held his hands on each side, and we started crying, and he just laid there.
People use the medications in an abusive way, not knowing what the full consequences are, and somebody ends up here.
Within 24 hours, Aaron had opened his eyes.
Parents are the first line of defense in terms of prescription drug abuse.
You gotta sit your kids down. You just gotta tell them about the severity of the problem.
There's a number of steps that you can take.
Educate your child and yourself very early.
Anybody who feels that this can't happen to my child,
it could happen to your kid.
Make sure that you don't have excess pills in your home.
Keep your medication locked up because you're never going to notice if something's gone.
What my mom does is she has these take-home pee tests that I gotta take. I want to keep my mom proud of me, and I don't want to let her down.
You need to have the conversation with them about drug and substance abuse, and you need to include prescription drugs and guide them so they're able to get through their high school years and into college and through their college years drug-free.
Have this conversation before it's too late to have this conversation.
The United States of America is writing a prescription for pain.
that is wiping young people like me off the map. Our addiction to legally prescribed pain pills, like oxycodone or hydrocodone, is leading a lot of us straight to heroin. That's because prescription painkillers and heroin are both opioids. So when we can't get a refill, heroin is the only way to stop our pain or to get the same high. And heroin's less expensive and easier to get. I can have black tar heroin delivered to my house faster than a pizza. Once we start, we have to keep using. Not for the high, but because we get sick from withdrawal if we try to stop. It's an epidemic. We're rich, poor, and middle class. We're from farms, cities, and suburbs. We're from families who had big hopes that we'd live healthy lives and not fall so far from such a high.
Lifesaver 1 to all units. Lifesaver 1 to all units. We have a mission. I say again, we have a mission. Country Club Boulevard.
I have participated myself in over 140 Project Lifesaver searches. We've never lost anybody. We've always found them within an average of 30 minutes or less. And that has been repeated across the nation 1,350 times as of today.
She shaves his face, she combs his hair, she helps him find his rock.
Rather than having one or two within several thousand that are born with autism, the last statistics that came out was 1 in every 166 births was autistic. Looking at the Alzheimer's statistics, you're talking about, right now you've got around 5 million Alzheimer's patients. Well, they say in 30 years that number is going to triple to 15 million. Why is that? Because the baby boomers are starting to come into that age where Alzheimer's starts to strike.
Cooks his meals, she wipes his mouth, and the window that he's looking out, she reads.
As we're sitting there, you can see the relief in their eyes that they know there's something out there that's going to give them peace of mind, that they're not going to have to every single minute of the day worry that their loved ones are going to wander off and possibly die. Our program is so successful, and the efforts we put when we talk to the clients and to their caregivers, they can see that we care, and they can see that in the history of the program is that we're successful.
His name, oh, every day is much the same. She sighs that sigh from deep within.
If somebody wanders off, a call will come in by our emergency pagers. Every responder has a pager, and when the page goes off, we call the number that's on our pager and find out who's wandered, what the situation is, how long they've been gone, what they were wearing, and then we'll send out another page to all the responders telling them that it's time, we have a mission, we have to respond.
Each transmitter has its own particular frequency, so we're tracking that person and not someone else. If that person happens to wander off, the caregiver is given a predetermined number to contact us. We will ask them a couple of questions. One of them is, where did you last see them and how long ago? Because that's going to be the focal point or where we start our search, at the point last seen. All of our responders will start responding to that area. They will have tuned in the frequency from that transmitter. They'll move into the area. Once they pick up that signal, they'll start triangulating on it until they move right into where the person is, or the signal gets stronger and stronger. They pick them up and bring them back home. So it's not a real complicated system. Therefore, you know, it works well.
The vehicles allow us to cover the ground to get there a whole lot quicker. Once we get close into the area and the signal is very strong, we feel like we were right near the person, then we can get out of the vehicle, hook up another antenna, and go to ground, is what we call it. Get out of the vehicle and start searching on ground and slowly go in and find the individual.
If too much time goes by, these receivers only work for about half a mile on the ground. And at that point, if they're deep into the woods or have just wandered off, you don't know where to start and you don't know which direction they went, and you may not pick up that signal on the ground. That's the point that they would call us in. And with the aircraft, we obviously have a several mile range and we can cover a lot of ground very quickly.
A situation in their family, through no fault of their own, have a loved one that has developed the tendency to wander because of dementia, Alzheimer's, or the like. They need to be protected by this program. This is a program that affords the protection that they need. We know that they do everything that they can in their own security measures, but having this program, having this bracelet that they wear, can afford them the additional protection that we can bring their loved one home.
Would you want somebody there to help them if you couldn't be there? And I think Project Lifesaver accomplishes that.
It gives law enforcement a tremendous tool to help protect our elderly and the young that are at risk.
They need to be brought home. They deserve to be brought home, and they deserve that dignity.